Oh God, I'm so sick. Somebody help. Emergency. Hey guys, what's going on? Last week I didn't do a video on Mushoku Tensei because of Demon Slayer episode 1 coming out. Also, I think you guys would have made me cry if I released that video on episode 13 anyways. So today we're going to talk about Mushoku Tensei episode 14. Let's jump right into it. So we start off with Rudy, who finds himself imprisoned. Oh God, it's gonna be so hard to talk during this. My sinuses are clogged, people. Oh, okay. But we'll get through it. So the cat people from last episode caught him, as we know, and they've imprisoned him. I like the intro to this because the humor of it is what I prefer in Mushoku Tensei, which is this very ironic, cut to the chase, almost sarcastic humor that I just think is something we don't see that often in anime. It almost feels like a very Western styled comedy, and I think that's why I like it so much when it's going good, you know? Rudy, he has this plan that he's just gonna wait for Eris and Rudy to come and find him, and because of that, he just sits in this prison cell bored all the time, which is rather humorous because he's stark naked. Why they chose him to be nude? I don't know, but it's kind of freaking hilarious. Especially when the new guy comes in, because he flashes him like literally throughout the whole episode. Speaking of the new guy, we should go ahead and just introduce him. He gets imprisoned, and Rudy he starts with freaking him out. He says, "This is where the end of your life, or the end of the road of your life," or whatever he says. But either way, the point is he scares the crap out of this new guy, which I thought was totally in Rudius's character. And absolutely, I was howling. I thought that was some great stuff. So the new guy, he basically got caught for cheating, and this scene as it develops is pretty interesting because it gets into a little bit of the names that have been going around about the people in Dead End. But the new guy, he's heard the name of Rudius, and it just dawned on me that this is a good place for Dead End to be in, the laughingstock, because when you're the laughingstock, you're the underdog in everything. So they go into all these new situations, they technically have the advantage because nobody takes them seriously. And I wouldn't be surprised if word got around about Rudy's massage from the new guy. This was a very, very odd scene. I don't know what to think about this scene. All I know though is that I was howling once again because it just came out of nowhere. And once again, this is the kind of comedy that I prefer from Mushoku Tensei. I don't like the overly perverted, degenerate humor. I think that stuff is just totally played out. But this scene was just, for the way that they framed everything, and it's so stupid, but it was so funny, especially the conversation he had where Rudy was like, "Can you satisfy 100 women?" And he just goes, "I can't satisfy 100 women, only 1, 2 tops." It was so well written. It was so hilarious. Oh God, it was good stuff. So now comes the meat of the episode, and that's when the smugglers come and they catch the village on fire and try to kidnap all of the beast children. What I found very interesting about this, and it's very smart but also ruthless of Rudy, is that he's going to use this as a chance to get the beast people to basically owe them one. And it's smart, it really is. But at the same time, he's also playing with people's lives. Though I do think it is important to note this, because as we go on with Mushoku Tensei, Rudy is not a dumb character by any stretch of the imagination. He's actually rather smart. It's just that he's played up in this degenerate style, which makes him seem kind of stupid and useless some of the times. But if you actually go back and you look through all the episodes, Rudy is a pretty intelligent dude. And so what he does is he actually makes it rain to put out the fire. Now this does two things. This obviously puts out the fire, but as well, this clears up, I guess, the noses of all the beast people, and so they can smell now and actually defend their village. It was just some really good writing, honestly, in this entire episode when it came to stuff like this. And immediately, Rudy gets what he wants. He gets to team up with the guy who essentially put him in prison to begin with. And the twist is that, oh, Gallus the Cleaner, he did it all along. he was the guy that was in charge of the smugglers, which is weird. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Maybe he was teaming up against the other smugglers and he wanted those beast children. I don't know what was going on there. Somebody in the comments, please explain that. I'm legitimately confused. I've seen both episode 13 twice and I've seen this episode twice already. So I don't know if that's just a badly written or adapted part. I'm not sure. But we do know that Gallus, he's a bad dude because he does bad dude things like touching girls. I hate this trope. It's so overplayed. It's like, how do we figure out how to make the bad guy seem like a bad guy? Oh, I know. Let's have them be creepy and fondle girls that don't want to be fondled. That's such an overdone trope. I would have much preferred just not to have that in there, because I think Gallus, from the twist alone, already comes off as a bad dude, because we see in this episode, beast people get slaughtered. We see a beast girl, gets stabbed through the chest. That's good enough. I know he didn't do it, but he was in charge of it, so he might as well have done it. But we learned that Gallus the Cleaner is the North Saint, or a part of the North Saints, so he's really powerful. He actually is able to go toe-to-toe with Rudius, which, isn't, the greatest feat ever, because he's not as strong as Rudy in many ways, but at the same time, he's still Rudius. He's very good at magic, and this was just not a very good matchup for Rudy in general, because Gallus, obviously, very close quarters combat, and the animation for this scene, by the way, was really good, but Rudius, he's a magician. He uses magic, he uses mana. He doesn't do the hand-to-hand stuff or close quarters combat. He stays back. Gallus is, he's up in your face, and that was just not a good matchup for Rudy, and he gets hurt. He gets stabbed through the leg, but it's actually not Rudy that ends up saving the day. It's actually the Sacred Beast, the big doggo. So cute. I love this Sacred Beast. I love this gag of this Sacred Beast, that they call him the Sacred Beast, but he's just this goofy dog. That's so good. But Rudy, in the very end, he uses the opening to take out Gallus, and that's all he needed, which, once again, very good writing. It shows that Rudy is not the all-powerful isekai pro-tag everybody thinks he is. And speaking of the Sacred Beast, Rudy actually passes out and wakes back up to the Sacred Beast licking him on the face, which... this whole scene... I'm sorry, it was great. So Eris is there. She's all cute, right? She's just so excited for the adventures she went through. Like, Rudy and Eris actually took out the rest of the smugglers, and Eris was there to keep the beast children, happy and safe, while Rudy did, the murdering. I want to say, as an aside, I love Eris's optimism and how just, she's such a bright child, Like, she's so happy around everything, and I love that. That's such a great aspect about Eris's character. You'll always see her with a smile in an episode, and a genuine, just this widest, brightest smile. It's fantastic. But so the cat people, they get on their back and they're like, Rudius, use this however you want. And it's funny because it's cat people and they're exposing their stomachs. And I thought that was so brilliant. It made me laugh. Oh, jeez. That's some good stuff. So the ending scene is interesting because we get Saurus Boreas Grey Rat, Overlord of Fitoa. He has failed to respond to the Mana disaster, and thus he is sentenced to execution for putting his people into chaos, allegedly. And he dies. He's beheaded. But it seems he may be framed, and the thing that gets me is that with the execution of Saurus, I wonder if, let's say, he was framed for something, what because of that? What was he framed for exactly besides, the obvious of the Mana disaster? My theory is that this what's happening here is what is going to reunite everyone by the end of the season, including Ghislaine, or Gasoline as I call her, who has been absent since the Mana disaster. From there, I believe they'll have to just overthrow the king and essentially put Eris into power while flushing out the previous royals. I wouldn't even be surprised if they had a revolution to go along with that. Either way, I am sick. I would love to continue talking, so if you haven't already, check out my last Mushoku Tensei video on why Eris is such a great character, and thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye!